Yes.
Remember, it's only going on the internet for forever.
Hey, we like to live dangerously, Well, welcome back to another conversation with Chase and Rob over here on DEStalks. We're so glad to have you. We are now live on video. Hello.
Woo
Hello.
woo.
What do I do with my hands?
Great question, Chase. I think we leave them right here during the entire podcast.
Yeah, just leave our hands up in homage of Will Ferrell.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I appreciate that.
Yes.
Well, I know that Rob and I were together over Thanksgiving. We had a great Thanksgiving from my perspective. Rob hosted this year. He did an absolutely wonderful job. Big hen that he had to, call out and serve up to us. I think what did that thing weigh in at? Like 25, 26 pounds?
Yeah. So I guess what they would call the hanging weight, we estimate that she was somewhere in the range of 32 to 36 pounds. And then on the table, cooked on the table, she was about 24 and a half pounds.
Yeah, you fed. We had what, 16 people there, give or take.
Yeah.
So about 16 mouths to feed, and you fed all that, or we all fed. What is that off of one breast?
Not even.
Not even one breast.
Not even.
It was a massive turkey. It was one of the largest turkeys I've ever seen.
Yeah, your oldest boy did the most damage. And only put down 2 pieces of turkey breast. And then he took on a turkey leg and got about 2 bites in before he looked at me and goes, "Uncle Rob, I'm too full. I can't. I'm sorry, I can't."
He tapped out early, huh?
I mean, you saw the size of the turkey breast. It was legitimately two of my hands, just one breast.
And for everybody out there, I know you can see it on video, and you don't have anything to measure it against, but he's got really small hands. So if you can imagine,
Now you have... I do not have small hands. You liar.
Well, joking aside, we are so glad that you guys are back and getting back into the swing of things. If you're anything like our households, I mean, we kind of think of time as the kids go to school. I don't know if you guys do that in your house, Rob. But my wife's a teacher and my kids are in school, so time kind of passes. So we go from holiday to holiday, right? It's like the seasons.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So Thanksgiving, now we're in full-time Christmas mode. I know that you can't see. Maybe if I put into focus, there's a Grinch right here. There's a Santa Claus over here. Rob has his lights up. I mean, it's, all right.
I may or may not have a trophy on my shoulder from the Thanksgiving games that took place at my house, of which I walked away a winner with my wife.
Yep.
Where's your trophy?
Yeah, you have it right now, and that's okay.
That's right. I'm sorry.
Way to rub that in. I didn't know that we were bringing that as part of the podcast. I know. You know what? You better hold on to that. Cherish every moment.
You told me.
Cherish every moment.
It must be displayed in a place of prominence in my home.
Well,
and this is a good segue. I'm thinking that I might need to build a second bookcase in my living room because this might be here permanently. Sorry to interrupt. Please continue.
Well, this tradition was passed along to us, to my family by the Sample family, by John and Tina Sample, and they are awesome. We go up and visit them, and we used to trade a trophy back and forth. I've now started that tradition inside of our house with my brother, who now holds the trophy monetarily until the next time we get together, which will be soon. So it's okay. You got Christmas coming up, big dog. I'm coming after it.
Well, we welcome all challengers.
All right. So you and I were kicking around right before we started up here, and you and I started kicking around this, looking at different news articles that had come out, right? Mm-hmm. You and I had talked about what all did we see in there. We said, we're going to stay away from Biden pardoning his son. We said we're going to stay away from that, even though I'm mentioning it right now. We said that we were going to stay away from, Trump telling the Canadian Prime Minister, why don't you become the next United States? We shied away from that. We said we don't want to get too political. But something that we did find interesting, Rob, and that was that China has now put a ban, right, on all specialized materials.
Yeah, so it was a ban on rare earth materials, and if I'm not excuse me, I'm not mistaken, that article came out, or the one that I read in New York Times came out like 2 or 3 hours ago. So this is
Yeah.
like happened today or yesterday, their time. But essentially, what that is the sales, and I'm reading from the article on New York Times, the sales of gallium, germanium, antimony, and other materials to include graphite, or I'm sorry, gallium, germanium, antimony, and other materials to the U.S. would be halted immediately.
Isn't antimony what they put in Wolverine?
What they put in what?
Wolverine.
That was antimanium, you nerd. Get out.
My bad.
And then the export of graphite is a big one because it doesn't just go in pencils, everybody. And so, it's something to pay attention to. And you and I were talking about it as we're sitting around and trying to figure out what we should bring to our DEStalk group here. This is not to be an alarmist, but to be an alarmist. This is exactly how the Cold War started. Am I wrong?
That's true. Yeah. But you're not wrong. I mean, it did start with resource guarding, right?
And you have the same players. The same players are playing this time again. Us, Russia, China, North Korea, or Korea as a whole. They're all players again. And it's all about a technology race. That's all this is about.
Yep, it's a tech race. Just like it was during the Cold War, that some of us, were brought in at the end of. Like we were. We didn't actually live through. We saw the wake of the Cold War, right?
No,
but we're seeing history repeat itself here, right?
Yeah. I'm sorry,
it's all cyclical.
I'm going to turn you up in my ears now so I can hear you, and don't do that again. Sorry, good buddy.
But that is. I mean, there's going to be some with that kind of news, we don't want to be alarmist here. What we do want to say, in my opinion, is I like to always look on the positive, and I look for opportunities, right? Because inside of everything, there's always opportunity. And what are we seeing there? I mean, that means that if they have a total ban on that coming from China, I mean, logically, we're going to have to get it from somewhere, right?
Hello, Arkansas.
Hello, Arkansas. Did they just find one of the largest lithium mines in Arkansas in the world or something like that? Of course, everything's the largest whenever you discover it, right? It's the largest.
I'm trying really hard. Yes, yeah, you're not wrong. And I'm curious what else they found in Arkansas that they just now found, right?
Yeah. Yeah, did you see where they did that same thing they made an announcement they found some kind of rare earth mineral up in Wyoming right outside Yellowstone National Park? Imagine.
How that happened. Isn't that crazy?
Isn't that crazy?
It's crazy. I know. I do think it's funny. Being in my mid-30s, I made the choice to smoke meats, woodwork, and be interested in history. And so I noticed that this ban, and you think about it, this is exactly what happened the first Cold War. So I'm curious if we're headed for that 2.0, just in a different way. Right? Because during the Cold War, if I have read and understood my history correctly, it was a lack of information that caused panic and chaos and whatnot here in the U.S. surrounding nuclear weapons specifically. I don't think we're not there right now, but I am curious to see what kind of impact in the world that we live in where information is so readily available.
Right.
I'm curious if these sanctions, which is in response to the Biden administration. I'm reading from the article, from the Biden administration tightening their sanctions on China, if it will actually lead to a Cold War 2.0, or if this is something that with the changing of the guard proverbially coming in February, if that'll go away, if all of this
if that's temporary or not, right?
Right. It's interesting.
Well, I mean, that's such a hard line to press, right?
It
And
is.
you're with that would be come a lot of opportunities. I mean, we were both talking about subjects we want to talk about. Another subject that came up that I overheard a news article over this last week was that general labor positions were fizzling out. That the average age of a general laborer being somewhere in the mid 50s, being 1 to 4 for somebody under 35.
So what do you mean when you say, sorry, what
Go
do you
ahead.
mean when you say general labor? What is that? Couch that for me.
So what they're talking about is general electrician, people who can actually build a home, two standard, that have the expertise and knowledge to be able to do that. You're talking about your general, framers. You're talking about electricians, plumbers. Your more traditional masons. We need masons. They're saying that right now it was 1 to 7 10 years ago. It's now 1 to 4. So it's growing. The demand and the need. So if you are transitioning and you're looking for a way to make some money, and looking for a good career, that might be it. Or if you are raising kids like we are, I mean, we're always looking at that, trying to set our kids up in the best position possible. This new technology that's coming out, we're going to need people who will maintenance those things. That's something else that they're desperately missing is general technology repair.
Yeah. That's an interesting point. And I remember about 4 or 5 years ago, we were looking at, whenever I was still working at a university, we were looking to add new programs. And just an example, like a coding program, right? And so we went to one of the big DoD contractors. I won't name drop. We did a site tour and we talked to one of their floor managers or what have you. And the question was asked to that gentleman, "What do you need here?" And his response was, "I don't need more people who can code. I need people who can fix the machines that replaced my assembly line." And so what you're saying is that what that gentleman said he needed 5 years ago is still in demand today. And I would assume pays pretty well. Do we have those statistics?
So so that right now your average salary of somebody who can repair like that, who does like a general, repair technician, if you will, they make about 85 a year. That's the national average. That comes with great benefits, a retirement package. I mean, that's a great job. That's job security.
Is that with an undergrad or is that with like a skilled trade? Can I go to school to fix these machines?
There are some options that are out there. They're very limited right now, but you can get into some trade schools that will give you a lot of those certifications. The union in some states are really good at that. They hire and then they train, good union workers. I know that is a job that is in high demand, always in high demand. But those are, kind of the routes you could take. You can go and get a generalized labor, go and just work for 7 years on somebody's team. Right? And that gives you a generalized education to go back and be able to command something, maybe lead your own team. I mean, that's how it used to be done. I know that they actually have certificates now that you need to go and get. And it's like a licensure almost. It's not considered a licensure yet, right? But it's still considered a certificate.
I'm going to do my best to keep I have so many thoughts and opinions on this, but I mean, we're getting into my world here as far as certifications and what my background is. But if there's people out there, because I've looked at this extensively, if you're looking to reskill or even start a new career, I would highly encourage you to look at models called micro credentialing at the university level. It's relatively new to kind of hit the scene in the past. What, Chase, 3 to 4 years is whenever
I would say 3 to 4 years.
Yeah.
It's getting some traction though. It's speeding up.
And I know a lot of universities and training providers, they've done this. I think they just put a new cool name to it called micro-credentialing, within the last 10 years, realistically. But in the past few years, it's caught traction. But essentially what it does, you earn your college degree and professional licensures or certifications in tiny little bite-sized pieces. And so with that, you're paying a smaller price point as you go along and you take the coursework instead of having to shoulder the burden of, what would have cost me $60,000 for an undergraduate degree. And that's what, 12 grand a semester, right? Instead, I can pay, I don't know, I'm just going to throw out a number, $650 a semester to take one course at a university where I get college credit hours and I leave with a professional certification at the conclusion of that course. And then I can continue along that path. And ultimately, it culminates in a collegiate degree. I know there's a lot of people who's the biggest barrier to leaving their current position. Chase, you and I have had that conversation. Whenever I left SMU, my biggest fear was, how do I replace income if I leave? Because things aren't getting cheaper. Micro credentialing allows people to upskill themselves while they're currently employed, and you don't have to take on that huge responsibility of being a full-time student and working full-time.
What I hear you saying is the micro credentialing, you can, if you're smart about it and you use it at like the resource is supposed to, you can use it to kind of climb that next step. Right. So if you have plateaued in your current career because you need the education to move to the next, or you need the next certification, you can go to some of these universities out there that offer some of these micro credentialing, and you can pay a fraction of the cost, go and get a certification course over 8 weeks, 16 weeks, and come out with a certification that allows you to be able to go and employ that with your current employer, or like you said, lane shift. You're looking to, transition. If you're looking, this sounds weird, but my kids are actually transitioning into that middle school, high school age now. And so I'm starting to think further out, in the fact that I might want more work now that my kids are starting to get a little bit more autonomous. Does that make sense? Where before I was looking for, I need maximum amount of dollars for my time that I need to split between my family, and work. Well, those needs are changing.
Are you telling me you're ready to move on? This is a terrible way to tell me that. Or that you need more work. I can do it.
Hey man, look, I'm part owner in this company. I don't think you're ever going to hear me say that. I have plenty to do. Thank you. I can find a lot.
Well, thank you for couching that, because you're right. That was my train of thought, and I know I took it down a little bit of a rabbit hole there with the micro credentialing. But I've said it before, and I'll continue to say it. Micro credentialing is a phenomenal way to reduce out-of-pocket costs and still accomplish the same thing at the end of the day. But you're right. A transition looks different. A transition could be looking for a new career or upskilling in your current career to move to the next spot. Both of those are transitions. But pay attention.
In the military, we used to call those hip pocket classes, right? I mean, that's a hip pocket class, if you will. Like, you are constantly micro-credentialing and upscaling and making yourself even more invaluable, right?
Yeah.
So making yourself worth more, right?
Yep.
So that's how you get promoted. They give you more based off your knowledge and your skill set. So we are trying to help you micro-credential. Give the thought to micro-credentialing, if you're in one of those.
Well, give thought to it, right? You're right. But pay attention to the job market. And I think that's where a lot of people, having spoken with many veterans who have made multiple career transitions, it took a few times for a lot of people to look at the job market and see where the job market was headed, instead of me looking at what's most in demand today. It's tech, coding, cybersecurity, things of that nature. Instead of going and finding, a cybersecurity boot camp or what have you, and getting a licensure in that, what's going to be hot in 2 years? Project out a little bit. Go on Department of Labor. And I know not everybody is built like that, but it's important to do.
Well, that's why we're here. We're letting you know. Hey, look, these job markets are going to be hot here soon.
Yep.
Data scientist, going to be one of the hottest jobs that you're going to find out right now. What does a data scientist do? I have no idea, but I found that on the job market board as one of the top 10 jobs. And what does a data scientist do exactly? And I started going down that rabbit hole, and I got even more confused as I went down. So if you are listening, you're a data scientist.
It's a good point.
Shoot me an email. I'd love to hear about what you do.
Yeah, I'm curious too. But if anyone has any questions and you're listening to this, you're always welcome to reach out to us. What I will do for this week's episode in the description, for those of you who don't feel like Googling, I'll put in the link to Department of Labor job category statistics. That way you can just click on that link and see what we're talking about when we say Department of Labor.
Absolutely. While you're there and checking out things, you should go over to our website as we have a brand new look. So that launched on Monday of this week. What was that? November or December 2nd?
2nd, yep.
So we launched our new website. Go check it out, dynamiceducationalsolutions.org. It's going to be hyperlinked below or above, depending on where you get this, you listen to this podcast from. Go ahead and go check it out. See what we do. If you have any questions, there's also, shoot us an email. Let us know. We're here for it. What else do we have on there, Rob, that's new and exciting?
Well, I jokingly said before we started, but I think I'll say it here. If you visited our original landing page, go back and look at go to the new one. What did you say earlier, Chase? We're building the ship as we fly.
We're building the plane as we're flying it.
Building the plane as we're flying it. I agree with that to an extent. What we're talking about is the website. Chase and I are neither website experts, and so Chase has done a wonderful job of spending his off time taking Google classes and watching YouTube and taking, professional classes up at the community college, I think, to build this website. The functionality is fantastic. More importantly, to me, I think you can get a better understanding of who we are and what we do as an organization, which is important. We're not just using buzzwords. We actually go into detail about what we do, and we break that out and break that down for you. What do we have? We have our calendars on there now, so you can schedule time with us if you want to meet.
No more awkward first email introductions. You don't have to do that. Just go onto our appointments page, schedule an appointment. I promise Rob and I come to those excited. Yes. So you're going to get all this energy. So if you are somebody who does not want all this energy, maybe leave that in the comments.
Or send us an email. Just send us an email. The other thing, and the thing that I'm most excited about, and probably most important for the crew listening here, is our new veteran community. Originally, we launched 2 podcasts. We launched this DEStalk, and we launched something called After Action, which if you're curious about that, you can check us out on YouTube. But that originally was a subscription model. We have eliminated that. That did not... I'll just be honest. That didn't work out how we wanted it to.
Yep.
And so we retooled it a little bit. And instead of it being a funny place to joke and let your hair down, we have completely rebranded that. It is now a professional military, active duty military, veteran, and dependent Discord channel. So what you do is you can go on our website, you can read all about it, and there is an application to get in. But the application is simply for us to verify that you are indeed a veteran or a military service member. And as soon as we can verify that, you get the link to Discord. You can jump in there. You can start building professional relationships. And I mean, it ranges from, E1 fuzzy, just joined the military to, retired CEO of a Fortune 500 company. Like, this is the network and everything in between. And we have we're going to have professional conversations. We have something on there that Chase requested called Meme Wars, something fun. There's something for everybody on there. It doesn't cost anything, but what it does do is it allows you to have access to us 24/7. So if you have a question, if you're changing schools, you need to fill out a form 22-1995. Well, what is that and where do I get it? Ask the question. Not only will we tell you how to complete the form, we'll send you the form. That way you don't have to go and search for it and hope that you get the right thing. And we'll give you detailed instructions on how to do that. It costs you nothing. We don't collect your data. We don't do any of that. You can put your real name. You can create a screen name. The only thing that we ask is that we're respectful of everyone's thoughts, opinions. We're courteous and be professional. You're, semi-professional, right? Minimally professional is our tagline around here. Just do that. Be a
minimally
good
professional
community person.
We are building a healthy community that is more in collaboration. Times are changing, right? The office politics have got to change. We got to be more collaborative. If you want to go somewhere fast, go by yourself. If you want to go far, go with others, right? So collaboration is key. So that's what we're trying to do, is set up those opportunities for us as a community to succeed. And we do need your help doing that. So please make sure that you go over to the website, fill out that form, get involved in our community, start a conversation. You guys hear that all the time from us here at DES. We say all the time that we just want to have conversations.
Yes. And last thing that I'll say, for all my people out there looking for a purpose, we are going to be looking for community admin inside that Discord channel. And so if that is something that you aspire to kind of curate maybe a different channel, if you have a vision for this is y'all's community. We're just hosting it.
Yep.
So if that's something you're interested in on the application, there is a comments section. You can drop that in the comments. Hey, I'd like to be community admin. And we'll meet with you and make sure that your intentions are good, and then we'll let you run with it. But we're excited about it. The website looks great. Good job, Chase. That was quite literally all him. And I'm very proud of that work. So please go check that out.
With that being said, ridiculous. It wasn't all me. Rob was there too, putting in wordsmithing. He did a good job. We are very proud to say that we are done, that we have completed our next website 2.0, and everything grows and it will continue to grow, but we're excited to present it to you. Stay tuned. DES is growing, and that is thanks to all of you. And so we would like to thank you all again for coming and supporting us. Make sure to come back next week. Check us out. Same time, same channel. Until then, stay minimally professional.